People from the past predict 2025. Hello, you gorgeous donuts. Today, I thought that we would look at predictions that people made in the past about what 2025 would actually be like. Now, we're going to start all the way back in 1950, and we're going to work our way up the decades up until 1999, okay, until we get to the 2000s. For every single decade, we're going to see how many predictions they got right, and at the end of this video, we're going to discover which decade was the most successful at predicting the future. I'm really excited for this, but also kind of nervous. Which decade do you think is going to be the most successful? Let me know in the comments now. So, we're going to begin this in the 1950s. I can't believe they've actually got footage from this.
Even more staggering, science has achieved another miracle and is now able, across thousands of miles, to transport an image. So why not suppose that in another 50 years, and very possibly less, science will be able to transport matter with the same ease.
This is so interesting and kind of makes us feel bad when I complain that there's nothing on any streaming service that I watch. Like, how many streaming services you have to pay for these days, and when there's nothing on, or nothing on in your eyes, you're like, oh, this is shit. Yeah, back then they were like, oh my god, you can see a helicopter on this thing. Isn't this the greatest thing in the world? Whereas now, like, there's helicopters in like so many shows where like, I'm sick of helicopters. I get it. The Fly. Is there anything else to them? Do I have to watch The Rock save the world out of a helicopter again? How many times? The comment said, we do transport matter with the same ease. It's called Amazon. I don't know if he was right, really. Like, people have said that we have 3D printers, which, you know, is kind of halfway there. But, you know, I don't think if this guy was alive today, if he is alive today, I don't think so, unless, you know, he's a superhuman, that we can transport matter in the same ease as we can, you know, watching a television signal. I feel like this is a false prediction. We've only got one video from the 1950s as well, so it was all kind of riding on this guy. Get out! Honestly, I didn't really have much confidence that the 1950s would, you know, be completely accurate. Obviously, like, it's the furthest decade away. 1960s, I'm hoping for a little bit more. We have got 3 videos from this, which is really cool. This is children predicting what life would be like today. I don't know if they're gonna obviously be accurate, but I'm interested. Let's see how many they get right. I've got a pen.
I think I'll probably be the spaceship to the moon dictating robots to robots. Or else I may be, I don't know, in charge of a robot court, judging some robots. Or I may be at the funeral of a computer. Or if something's gone wrong with their nuclear bombs, I may be sort of coming back from hunting in a cave.
Okay, so he kind of covered a lot of bases there. Robot court? Do we have any robot courts these days? I'm trying to, like, infer, you know, I guess with AI or anything like that. I'm trying to also think if there's been, like, you know, some sort of PC funeral. Like, is there any funeral for any, you know, AI generated, like, characters that have been produced? I'm trying to think. To be fair, if my PC died, I do feel like I would have a funeral for it. I love this thing more than myself at this point. I feel like he was kind of talking about, like, actual real life robots, like the movie I, Robot, like walking around, which obviously isn't a thing yet. Obviously there is, like, robots, but they're not, like, ingrained in society, which I actually think he was talking about. Like, he was talking about as if they're basically just walking about like humans. And also, civilization hasn't been fully blown up by a nuclear bomb yet, so we're not in caves. So I'm gonna give him an X.
I don't like the idea of sort of getting up and finding you've got a cabbage peel to eat for breakfast or something.
Oh, I think
A cabbage peel? Is she basically assuming people on a diet, or that cabbage peels are the only thing we can eat? Because I imagine there is someone out there that does just have some iceberg lettuce if they're on a bit of a diet. So I don't really know how to like judge that one. I don't know if she's kind of saying that's the only thing, because that would be sad. You know, her predictions for the future weren't very positive. Everyone just eating lettuce, like we're hamsters or something.
All these atomic bombs will be dropping around the place, and it was one will get near the centre because it will sort of make a huge great big crater, and then the world will just melt and the world will become one vast atomic explosion, and it will become like a supernova, stars.
All right. You know, positive about the future then. Very deep child, future serial killer there, I imagine. One thing I will say is, although these people are obviously children, they seem really mature. And I'm trying to gauge, like, people this age, are they as mature these days? Like, are we as mature as what people were back then? Because obviously, like, you know, the internet's had a huge effect on how people grow up these days. It's so interesting to see the difference. Like, I find it crazy that they've actually got these videos. Like, I was so excited to record this just to react. Like, I haven't watched these.
Some madman will get the atomic bomb and just blow the world into oblivion.
There very is an obsession with the atomic bomb here. And Oppenheimer hadn't even, you know, released, so they can't use that as an excuse. In 1966, people weren't really positive, were they? You know, about the future. I was hoping that some of the kids would be like, oh, you know, like, you know, I can ride to school in like a flying spaceship or something. No. Everyone just thinks the world's gonna die.
Well, I think that it'll be so overpopulated that there'll all be wars. All nuclear explosions and everything. It'll make the Earth, you know, too much radiation on it. It'll become too hot to live on. I think that there'll be no life at all, really, on the Earth.
To be fair, I mean, she has got to the extreme. Like, this isn't the case. But global warming, so I guess she could get halfway, but it's still incorrect because it hasn't happened yet. And this is what we're predicting. What was going to happen this year. But I can see the vision, love, is what I'm trying to say. She knew it before everyone else.
I think it'll be very dull, and people would all be squashed together so much there won't be any fun or anything. And people will be rationed to the amount of things they can have, because if they had too many things, it would just squash their houses, and there just wouldn't be room for them.
I mean, again, halfway you could argue with London. You know, like the Tube, everyone squashed together. Just trying to, you know, kind of just spitballing here. Just trying to back up that lass's point. Although I don't really know what she's saying about if you have too many things, your house will get squashed. I don't know what she's kind of referring to there. I mean, you know, the housing developments now, new builds, they do squash houses together a lot more. But I don't really feel like that's kind of what she's saying there. I feel like she's saying that you've got too many things in your house, so your house will be squashed. Again, like, were these kids told that they have to be as sad as possible? Like, not one of them has said a nice thing yet.
I think it'll be people will be regarded more as statistics than as actual people.
Okay, I call that a prediction that is right. I feel like that young man has got it. A tick for the 1960s. I agree with that. Like, people definitely are treated more like statistics these days rather than people. You know, that's like in a lot of different scenarios. I think you can definitely argue that. I definitely think there's a lot less empathy from, you know, the powers that be. I think that child knew what was coming. Also, could you imagine all these kids are really conveying very, you know, mature thoughts about what's going to happen in the future. Imagine telling them that, oh no, people just kind of like rage bait people on burner accounts on TikTok. What's TikTok? Oh, basically it's just this app where like you can see loads of slop videos that you don't even want to watch, but you'll spend like 5 hours just doom scrolling. What's doom scrolling? Oh, basically, like, you know when you scroll on a phone? What's a phone? Oh, it's like a telly, but it's like, how, honestly, I don't know how you would describe to these children if, like, they just, you know, for some reason didn't grow any older and just spawned in. I honestly don't think they'd be able to fathom what people their age actually do these days. What do you mean you just sit in the house and open packs on FIFA? Is this, like, what you do for fun? Do you not leave the house? So what is the whole fuss about this skibbity toilet thing anyway?
I don't think it's going to be so nice. I think sort of all machines everywhere, everyone doing everything for you. You know, you'll get all bored, and I don't think it'll be so nice.
I think that's kind of half right. I think it's more than half right. You know, like, stuff is very more seamless these days. Like, a lot more stuff, you know, unfortunately, with the rise of, you know, AI and stuff, a lot of people, you know, rely on that, which is really worrying. I think we can give that a tick. I think we can. Is this boring, this video? I'm enjoying it. I just find it really interesting.
People wouldn't be able to live in ordinary houses because that would take up too much room. They'd have to be in flats, piled on top of one another, like that. And the houses would be rather small, and everything would be cramped up, very cramped.
One thing I do want to say, though, obviously I wasn't about in these times. If anybody in the donut community was about in these times and can remember the 60s, was there not flats then? Surely there would have been. Or did everybody have a house? Like, surely flats existed then. She is very right, though. I definitely think there's an influx of flats now, you know. Obviously, like, you know, unfortunately, like, building developments make more money the more people that are in there, so they build flats and build smaller houses so they can fit more houses in. That's one of the truest predictions we've had. Do these children, like, is this actually what they, like, it's mad that they actually care about these things at this age. Like, it's a great thing, but I was expecting like, oh, you know, maybe, you know, Pingu will finally speak. See, this is what I would be saying. I'd be so out of it on this show. Yeah, I think humans might actually grow a third leg and, you know, yeah. No. I said that joke about, now that's such crack. Okay, let's have a little look at another one. There was loads of right predictions in that. Granted, the video was a hell of a lot longer.
The United States will have a 30-hour work week and month-long vacations as the rule. A lot of this new free time will be spent at home. And this console controls a full array of equipment to inform, instruct, and entertain the family of the future. We could watch a football game.
Wait, so is that basically the TV remote? Could you imagine your TV remote was like that? Like you had to have a big like desk like that in your home. Mum, do you mind putting Disney Plus on? No worry. That would be so inconvenient. At least you would never lose the remote. You know, like when you're sitting on the sofa with your family and like people are convinced that you're sitting on it, but you're not. You wouldn't have that issue because the remote is constantly over there, taking up half the house.
Or a movie shown in full color on our big 3D television screen.
Okay. That's right. Full colour. 3D telly. I think he just means that it's not like a projector. I don't think he actually... I mean, we did have 3D tellies at one point. So I think we can take that. Again, just topping up the 1960s here. 3D tellies were such a weird phenomenon for like... They lasted like what? Maybe 2 years? Like where... You know where it was a big thing in cinemas as well to go and see like 3D movies where you wore the glasses? And then it just died out. I think it was just kind of like it hurt your head and like the novelty wore off really quickly. And then people realised like, oh, it's actually just better watching it just on the screen rather than like it coming out at you. I honestly thought they were going to do more with that and like make it 4D in all cinemas and stuff. I know some did have 4D, but it just kind of died to death. People really didn't like kind of take well to that in the long term. And I never had a 3D telly at home, but I just couldn't imagine like, you know, you just want to sit down just in your comfies. I can't imagine just having to wear like big bulky 3D glasses.
As a summary of news relayed by satellite from all over the world. So I might check the latest weather. A telephone is this instrument here. If I want to see the people I'm talking with, I just turn the button and there they are.
Oh, okay. So that's basically FaceTime. Or like, you know, Teams or Skype or whatever. That's right. We can take that off. To be fair, he's actually really spot on. He's like, you know what, right? Yeah, you can call people now, but you're going to be able to see them when you ring them. How good's that? It's like they're here. The people that you don't want to speak to, you can also see them. That's great, isn't it? I'm having an absolute whale of a time. This might be my favourite video ever. Okay, what more? The 1960s idea of the home in our times. So what the home looks like.
His assignments are programmed into the home computer and fed into teaching machines, which allow him to progress as rapidly as his awakening mind can absorb the audio-visual lesson.
That's true. Like, I had my maths in school where I used to have to log in and, like, it would automatically go into the teaching system. Good prediction. Although they didn't predict the trims. Although people may argue that I have the same trim as this boy. Did nobody suspect that everybody would have a mullet with shaved sides and a mustache? What kind of a prediction video is this? Did nobody predicts Benson Boone? Boone B. Mice. Oh, honestly, it's shite.
At the turn of the next century, most food will be stored frozen in individual portions. The computer will keep a running inventory on all foodstuffs and suggest daily menus based on the nutritional needs of the family.
Maybe if... you know, you're very posh, but most people don't have this. I think they overestimated our abilities. You know, my computer does not have a running inventory of what is in my fridge. If it did, it would say, f*** all. There's nothing there, fella. That would be cool, though. Maybe in another 25 years we can do this video, and hopefully someone's predicted that today.
Fingertip shopping will be one of the many homemakers' conveniences. This video console will be channeled into the store of her choice. There, a camera will scan a display of wares, which she will select by push button.
I mean, like, this is so strange because obviously online shopping is so normalized to us. But like back then, they were like, oh my god, one day you'll be able to like buy a t-shirt like on your computer. Like, that's unbelievable. Now, like, everything is done online. Like, shops in the high street are like dying because everybody just can't be asked to go anymore. That's so mental. Obviously, it's probably an easy prediction, but still got it right. Just saying, the 1960s, right, were cooking. They were cooking so much more than the 1950s.
What the wife selects on her console will be paid for by the husband at his counterpart console. All bills and transactions will be carried out electronically.
Oh, Oh, misogynist. Okay, Mr. Narrator. Some things never change. Men. Why can't we predict that those would go extinct? Am I right, ladies? Can you order a new man online? Don't want to find the answer to that, actually. Probably some weird website. Local DILFs in your area. Yes, please.
Also at his disposal is an electronic correspondence machine, or home post office, which allows for instant written communication between individuals anywhere in the world.
I mean, we have emails, so they kind of underestimated us with that. We don't need the paper anymore. People don't really get paper statements. You know, everything is done online, so they've kind of underestimated us there. Just saying, we actually might have, you know, outdone expectations. Okay, 1970s. Now, I'm just saying, there is pressure because, you know, you're 10 years later, so you should have a better idea of what's to come.
Shopping trip at home using the interactive television screen as a vast catalog, reviewing the possibilities, narrowing the choices, comparing the products. If a selection is made, an electronic credit card triggers payment from the family bank account into the stores.
Oh, they kind of killed it there. They were cooking until the credit card. Was that ever a thing? I don't know. I've never had to do that ever, where you actually physically have a thing where you put the credit card in. Obviously, you just put your details into the actual system. So I don't think I can give them a tick for this, because we've already had the prediction of online shopping in the 1960s. So I can't give the 1970s a point for that because it came from the 1960s. The 1970s have to get it a bit more right in detail.
Going to the office, in this case traveling entirely by cable, talking to co-workers, attending a meeting.
That, gotta give a point for that. 1960 didn't predict that. Work from home. Tick. It is interesting as well because, like, a few of my mates who work from home and also go into their office, like, they say they actually like having a balance of, like, going in a couple of days, whereas, like, I would always say, oh, I'd rather just work from home, whereas it's interesting that some people don't actually like doing full-time work from home. They like getting out of the house. I just find it interesting how it keeps, like, swinging. Obviously, everyone's taste different as well. Okay, moving on. This video is from the 1970s, and they're predicting what their kitchens are going to look like in 2025. They've called it the super kitchen of the future.
A kitchen is one designer's view of how the kitchen of the future, and they're not.
Yeah, I don't think we can give them a mark for design here. Something about the two turrets that are coming off the roof just doesn't seem, you know, that practical for me. I mean, you know, like, some posh kitchens have, like, an island where they have, you know, the stove thing over it. I guess that's kind of what they're going for here, but I've never seen them as big as this. This is ridiculous. Also, why is it so orange? I'm still yet to walk in anybody's house who has a kitchen like this.
Not too distant future might look. And he's packed all the hardware you could possibly want into these 3 cylinders. It seems to have all sorts of advantages. It means for the designer that he can break away from the traditional linear design of kitchens dictated by the 4 walls. By making them revolve, it means that he can make them do the walking for you. And he's been able to pack into this single 5-foot cylinder, for example, cupboard space, a dishwasher, microwave oven, more cupboard space.
Is that cool? I'm trying to think if, like, my kitchen's small, if this was there, a lot more space would be freed up. However, it would be a lot uglier. It is interesting. I will give them that, but it definitely isn't applicable to today's kitchens. I've never seen anybody have a kitchen like this.
You can get extra stuff out of the refrigerator. And if you want to get rid of your dirty dishes, you just give it a push, and round comes this super dishwasher.
I actually think this is... Why do I actually think this is cool as fuck? I wish kitchens were like this. What? Just like, bang, there you go. Bang, there you go. Bang, there you go. Slap it on the way around. No, I wouldn't do that. Not me. I'd be respectful to it, all right? I'd be like, well done. Thank you very much.
We've seen the first crude beginnings of artificial intelligence. It doesn't really exist yet at any level because our most complex computers are still morons, high-speed morons, but still morons. Nevertheless, some of them are capable of learning, and we will one day be able to design systems that can go on improving themselves, so that at that stage, we have the possibility of machines which can outpace their creators.
Yeah, okay, now I'm myself. Why did nobody listen to this man? Why did nobody listen before they unscrewed the lid on everything that's happening now? I'm giving a point to that. Like, I know some people, you know, probably don't agree with me on this, but I'm in the camp of, like, not using, you know, AI in terms of, like, ChatGPT and all that because it scares me, and I'm kind of like, I would rather just do things myself. And I know obviously it's terrible for the environment and everything like that, which is also bad, but just in my own mind, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to kind of get into this, even, you know, it's meant to help. I just don't want to do it. I'm kind of fine doing everything manually because this freaks me out. This genuinely freaks me out. The fact that this was, what, nearly 50 years ago or whatever, and he's predicted that, he even said AI Sir Arthur C. Clarke. No wonder you were a sir. Sir. Living up to your name there, fella. Well done.
Big difference when he grows up. In fact, if we wanted to wait till the year 2001, he said he will have in his own house, not a computer as big as this, but at least a console through which he can talk to his friendly local computer and get all the information he needs for his everyday life, like his bank statements, his theater reservations, all the information you need in the course of living in a complex modern society. This will be in a compact form in his own house. He'll have a television screen like these here and a keyboard, and he'll talk to the computer, get information from it, and he'll take it as much for granted as we take the telephone.
Just saying, another tick on the board for the 70s. That is so mad that we just kind of take this for granted. Like, we take it for granted now that you can watch me on here. Like, we just take this like, yeah, this is just like a normal thing. Yeah, back then they would be like, what? I wish we could like bring people back and like create a TV show around it. Obviously, that would be the first thing we do. And just like plonk people who are from the 70s into today and be like, are you impressed or are you severely disappointed? Somehow I feel like it would be the latter. I don't know why. I just feel like people would be like, I thought we would be further forward, maybe. Okay, next up we have the 80s. You're closer by another 10 years, 20 years compared to the 60s. For anyone that isn't that great at maths, yeah, don't worry.
Perhaps brainwaves converted into radio waves, sent to someone else, converted back into brainwaves, and it'd be like, what would you call it? Like a telepathy thing.
Can the kids not just be like, oh yeah, like I think, where's Wally? People will actually start finding him. Like, what is that prediction?
Well, instead of a channel tunnel, you could have something like a space tunnel, and you could go to one planet to the other, like bypasses.
Little bit, maybe just a little bit optimistic there, just a little bit. I haven't found the turn off for the space tunnel. Maybe they don't have that in the north, you know, it takes us like an extra 20 years to get what the south has. We're quite far behind up here.
I don't think they'll be living on Mars yet, but I think they'll still be living around here.
I don't think we'll be on Mars, but I think people will just be around here. What kind of a prediction's that? So everything's just the same.
But when it comes to wars and things like that, nuclear bombs, and then they're designing these different gases that can kill people within seconds and things like that, I think that aspect of technology should be wiped out completely.
All right. Again, always a pleasure. Thank you, children. I don't know if this was meant to be like a light-hearted segment. Yeah, just, you know, the gases that they kill everybody with, and, you know, obviously, you know, nuclear war. Okay, that's all the videos we have from the 80s, and I don't think they predicted anything. I don't think they get any points. They're currently last with the 50s. Okay, last decade, the 90s. Come on, 90s.
We'll have things under control without all of these knobs and buttons. And what's more, the technology itself will be embedded in the very fabric of the house and its furnishings.
Okay.
So the idea is, once all the clutter of technology has gone, you'll be able to furnish your rooms in any style you like. You won't actually be able to see the technology, but it will be there, doing its job without getting in your way.
Okay. I'll give a tick. Technology definitely isn't huge and big anymore like it was. You get a tick for that.
That means the lights automatically switch off and on as you walk between rooms. And the home learns how bright you like them. A simple command gives you music, perhaps piped in from a sound library. Bark, please. And no more...
Well, you know, people have like Google Home and Amazon Echoes in their house, so I think you have to give a point. Okay, I mean, you are the closest to current time. I am still yet to hear, you know, go to anyone's house and they go, Alexa, bark. No, probably would leave shortly after that happened.
Plugs become pads, picking up power from anywhere on the wall.
Nah.
And even Windows will take an active part in the home, according to another researcher, David Button.
This is today's glass technology, whereby combining thin transparent coatings with ordinary conventional glass, we're able to change the performance of the glass. We can diffuse the glass for privacy, and with other coatings, we can control the glare and the solar radiation. In other words, we can vary the performance of the window.
I think this would be really cool, and people may not need curtains, but I'm still yet to see anybody with that. But that actually, strangely, is a really good idea if that was possible. Obviously, I know some bathrooms, obviously, you know, have the privacy glass, but I've never seen one where you can turn it on and off. Again, a little bit too optimistic.
This glass has a coating which can act as a light source in itself, becoming a prototype display screen. This imaging technology is embodied in very thin coatings, which will be developed to be transparent. And when combined with ordinary glass, it means that your glass tabletop could become a VDU screen, And indeed, your window could become something very remarkable.
So a simple command could turn a window into a wall.
I feel like we've been disappointed, because now I'm looking at this, I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. Why is that not a thing yet? They were talking about this in 1990s. Why is it not happening? I'm trying to think what I would want my wall window to look like. What would I want the view of? Maybe it's like just a field of greyhounds. You know, if that's the thing, I guess you could probably make it. I would just like a field of greyhounds. If I could have that on this wall, I think I would be a lot more happier. Why is that not a thing? Now I'm disappointed. I want to give you a point, but I can't because we haven't reached this greatness yet, my friend. Okay, we've got the last video here. It's 1994. Are you ready for the internet? Okay, so I'm intrigued to see what they thought the internet was going to be like, you know, now.
Imagine a world where every word ever written, every picture ever painted and every film ever shot could be viewed instantly in your home via an information superhighway, a high-capacity digital communications network. What that would mean is you could transform your home into a mammoth interactive entertainment centre with the odd stock exchange and shopping centre thrown in. It sounds pretty grand, but it all comes down to computers communicating. And in fact, that's already happening on something called the internet, that anyone in the world with a computer...
It's so mental that our phrase there was, it's on something called the internet. It's like, oh, I've never heard of that actually. What is that, love? Can you explain a little bit more? It sounds intriguing. Because now I'm like, how did people ever survive without the internet? Like, I would be so bored. I basically live my life on it. My job's on it.
There are over 20 million people connected up. And one person in particular I know is connected is the American President, Bill Clinton. And I know that because I used this computer to write to him today, and I've already got a reply from the White House. And here it is, right. Thank you for writing to President Clinton via electronic mail. The President is committed to integrating this dynamic medium into the White House.
I love this because now, you know, like obviously Donald Trump, the president, has a Twitter account and people just call him a dickhead on it. You're just like, well, you f off, man, stupid haircut prick. They were so optimistic about how people would use this for positive reasons, and I feel like they didn't think that people would use this in a negative way a lot of the time.
BT, for example, isn't allowed to do cable TV. But they're developing some interesting ideas to get what they can out of their existing copper phone lines, like video on demand. We've got a setup here to show what they're aiming at. The idea is, from the comfort of your armchair, you'll choose whatever video you want, and it'll be played down your phone line to your own TV. It'll not just be movies, though. There'll be other TV programmes too, like...
Okay, yeah, basically, that's just like what everyone does now, basically streaming. Like, I know they said on demand. On demand was a thing when I was younger, where basically, if something had been on the telly, it would, like, be able to watch after for, like, a few days or weeks, but then it would go off, like, I think it was like 30 days or something. It was very weird and very kind of shite compared to now, but I'll give you this. It's good. Okay, that is the end. That's all we have. So I'm actually surprised at the results here. So in last place is the 1950s and the 1980s, surprising. There wasn't much footage from the 1980s, I will give them that, but I feel like they were either too optimistic or just, you know, kind of predicted wrong. They didn't get very much right. In third place, we have the 1970s. They had a lot of good ones, I will give them that, like, especially, like, being, you know, quite far away. I'll give you credit for that one. Alright, 70s. Second, obviously, was the 90s we've just seen. I thought the 90s would be the best, because obviously it's the closest. But obviously, in first place, somehow, from those children carrying them heavily, the 1960s, you are the winner. I don't really have anything to give you. I guess it's the taken part that is the best part about it, isn't it? It's the friends we made along the way that is the real prize here, 1960s. So, you know, there's your prize. Alright. Anyway, Donuts, hopefully this video wasn't too boring. I definitely think it was a more different style. I just found it really interesting and thought, you know, maybe you would too. Apologies if you didn't. You have made it this far though, so I appreciate you sticking around. If you do want to watch another video from me, that is very, like, it's more like informative, I guess, rather than just like reacting to compilations. Click this video right here. I've got a lot of information about this subject in this video, and yeah, try to educate you, I guess. I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you over there.
Kirkham, baby!